Becoming a successful professional speaker is a journey. How do you find that first stage, the next stage, and then the bigger and better stages? I'm Lee Hayes, your host. My co-hosts and I are here to guide you to a more successful speaking career. You're listening to Path to the Main Stage podcast. Hey everybody, I have a great guest for you today who is deeply knowledgeable on many aspects of speaking, including how to sell from the stage. And many of you have asked about that. Lee, if I need to sell something, how do I do it? I've got the guy for you. He's going to help us out. So this is Steve Hopper of Steve Hopper International. He's been speaking for years. He runs his own events. He is a deeply talented individual. Welcome, Steve.
Well, thank you, Lee. I appreciate that awesome introduction. I'm excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you so much, because I've been looking forward to talking to you. I reached out to you a while ago because once upon a time ago, you said that if a speaker's not selling on some level, what are they doing, right? What are they doing? There's definitely always a reason to spread the word. However,
Right.
like you said before we got live here, everybody needs to make a living. Like you need, it's wonderful
Yeah,
to just want to spread the word, but if you're not eating or paying your mortgage, you're not as effective.
that's right. That's right. Well, I think the big thing is that it's a missed opportunity. I mean, if you've got a captive audience, if you've been asked to come and speak somewhere and you have a group of people in front of you and you've got up there, you poured out your heart, you've shared all this amazing information with them that is hopefully taking them to another place and another level in their lives. And you don't take advantage of that opportunity when you've got that audience in front of you, then you're making a big mistake. And it's really twofold. You're missing an opportunity to grow and to engage with that audience further, but you're denying that audience an opportunity to grow and engage further with you when you don't make an offer. And so it's just really across the board, it's a wasted opportunity for you, the speaker, and it's a wasted opportunity for your audience as well when you don't make an offer.
Now, what are some of these offers? What are things that speakers can provide from a sales aspect to an audience?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do from the front of the room. It really boils down to what are they going to allow you to do? Some conferences, some events will allow you to offer an opportunity for coaching. So you've got, if you're a speaker that also offers coaching or mentoring programs, then you can offer a coaching or mentoring program from the front of the room. You can offer a checklist, a guide of some sort that people can go. A lot of times, some events won't let you sell from the stage. They won't let you sell an actual product or program, but they will allow you to deliver a call to action. And so sometimes you can give away something in that scenario that is really designed to draw that audience into your system. It's designed to get them into your system so that you can then further market to them future opportunities, right? And so once you've got them in your system, maybe with something for free, whether it's a guide or a checklist or something that it's going to be related to what you spoke to, but it's going to be a further level of engagement for your audience. Sometimes that's free, and that's designed again to just get them in your system so that now you can nurture them further and share with them some of the other things that you have available, maybe your coaching or mentoring program. Books are always a great way. When we work with our coaching clients, one of the things we focus on is, like, let's get you a book. Let's get that story of yours, that testimony of yours in a book. Let's take some of that knowledge that you've got that you're sharing from the stage. Let's put it in a book. And that's always a great call to action when you're out speaking. And a lot of venues, a lot of people that ask you to come and speak, they may not want you selling from the front of the room, but offering your book at the back of the room is definitely something that many of them will allow you to do. They're not gonna not pay you to come and speak and then tell you you can't. Nine times out of ten when they reach out to you and go, hey, listen, we don't have a budget to pay you to speak. and we're not going to let you sell anything from the front of the room. I'm like, okay, well then you got the wrong speaker.
No, that's
Right?
fair. There
You know,
always has to be an exchange, right? An exchange
there's
of
got to be
value.
some, yeah, there's got to be something. Okay, you want me to come and speak? All right, I understand you don't have a budget, but well, can I make an offer to the audience? Can I bring my books with me and sell them at the back of the room? And so there's always going to be that exchange and negotiation. So selling from the front of the room is something that you need to have in your wheelhouse. If you're just leaning on your source of income being whatever they're paying you to come in and speak, then you're leaving a lot on the table.
And
One of
what
the
is a
things that
way,
go
oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry. What is a way to, because you'd mentioned you need to capture people, say you say you're giving away a guide or a checklist. How do you how do you physically or systematically, how do you capture them? Do you use a QR code? Do you tell people to email you? What are some of the ways to make that connection?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, emailing is not that's not a thing. You tell somebody to email you, they're not going to email you. You want to have you want to lower the barrier of entry as much as possible. QR codes are a great way to do that nowadays because that can be popped up on the screen while you're up there. And everybody's got their phone in their pocket. So QR code is a simple way they can go pull it up right on their phone right then and there. That QR code needs to take them to a funnel or landing page, if you would, where they're putting in their name, email address, phone number, and by doing that, it's transactional again. In order to receive this free thing that you're going to gift to them, they got to give you their name, email address, and phone number in order to receive that. This is not a new concept. We've all done it. We're all on. We've all opted in for free stuff before, right? So that's what you're doing. You're giving them something for free, but in order to receive it, they've got to give you their name, email address, and phone number, and then that's delivered to them immediately. What that's doing is that's putting them in your system.
Mhm.
And now, you know that these are people that have downloaded your free thing. They're interested in what you're talking about. They're interested in engaging further. And now you can start that follow up process with them after the fact.
Now, you had
So
mentioned that the QR code takes you to a landing page or can
hmm
take you to a funnel. What should be on
yeah.
a landing page? And then let's talk about how funnels work.
So your landing page really is just the beginning of your funnel. It's the forefront of the funnel. So the landing page would be that first page that they land on when they hit that QR code. Okay, and maybe on that landing page, there's going to be a little bit more description on what it is that you're giving or gifting to them. In other words, they're not just showing up on that page and it's just the form that they fill out. Even if it's important to understand that even when you're giving something away for free, that has to be sold, right? Even if it's free, it has to be sold. And so, when selling the free stuff, it's always what is the benefit to that person that they're going to receive by downloading this free thing or by opting in for this free thing? What is going to be the benefit to them? What are they going to receive from it? And so that landing page will have a little bit more of that information. Sure, you're going to explain a little bit of that from the front of the room as you're making that offer for them to go and take advantage of this free thing that you have. But that landing page should have some of that sales info on there too. Maybe some testimonials from some people that have downloaded it, that have gone through the free download or whatever it is that you're giving away, how it benefited them, what they're going to receive from it when they download it, etc. And that's on that landing page. Now, the purpose of a funnel, the funnel is, it's called a sales funnel for a reason. See, websites are fancy business cards. That's what websites are, is they're fancy business cards. Funnels are designed to sell. Funnels are designed to sell without you having to actually do the selling. The funnel does the selling for you. And so the funnels are set up in such a way where it's almost like pre-qualifying your people, and then it's taking them down the sales process, leading them ultimately to what it is that you are intending to offer to them. So to give you a good example, the free giveaway may be the entry, right? So they land on the landing page, they're going to opt in, and once they opt in to get that free download, it takes them to the next page. And that next page is, for a limited time only, I'm offering a free discovery session with you to help you take this thing that you're interested in to the next level or whatever, and this is what you're going to receive from that. And today it's being offered to you for only $97 or whatever. And so what you're doing is you're taking that free thing that you're giving away, and you're giving that person an opportunity on the next screen to upgrade if they want, so you're upselling them basically is what you're doing. You're offering more of what you offer to them, and you're kind of taking them down that road. And ultimately that sales funnel can lead to, a personal call with you where you can have the opportunity to sell maybe one of your higher ticket programs or a higher ticket offer that most people are not going to opt into a high ticket offer on a website. There's going to need to be a conversation. There's going to need to be that personal interaction with them for them to feel warm and fuzzy about investing that higher amount of money. But sales funnel is really designed to really get them in your system and to start offering them some of the things that you offer that you might not be allowed to offer from the front of the room.
Right. Now, what is a reasonable expectation? I know I've had some speakers who, not in a sales funnel way, but they'll say, oh, I spoke at such and such an event, and, only out of the 100 people in the room, only 10 of them, say, for example, gave me speaker feedback. For a sales funnel, if I have 100 people in the room, what would you consider a sort of good response rate that you gave away something and X number of people opted for it, that you'd say, you know what? That was a pretty good response. What can people expect?
I would say 25%.
Okay.
25% would be, yeah, because the average is lower than that. I think the average is somewhere less than, somewhere in the 15 to 20% range. If anything over 20%, you have knocked it out of the park, right? I remember speaking at an event one time, and I made an offer, and I think it was a $97 offer or something like that from the front of the room. And I would say 25% of the room came back and took advantage of it. And I remember the guy that was putting on the offer was like, dude, like, oh my
That's
gosh,
great.
like a quarter of the room took advantage of your offer. That's huge. And so it's, anything in that range, you're knocking it out of the park. But that's what you need to,
Hmm.
that's kind of the number that you want to go for, is getting 20% of the room to take advantage of what you're
And
offering.
what would you do? So, say you're not getting that kind of response, you're getting 5% of the room. How do you fix your offer? Is it, I mean, like you said, you had a $97 offer.
Hmm.
What have you tried in the past? You tried different price points, or maybe it's the way you presented it, or what else could it be? Like if I was a speaker and I said, I think I have this great offer, but it's not returning, what should I look at to fix that?
So I think it's a little bit of all of the above. I think your price point. I believe that it's how you make that offer, how you deliver that offer. Russell Brunson. I went through his training. He is the founder of ClickFunnels. And I went through his training on, making offers, and he talks about the irresistible offer, where you have so much in the offer that it's kind of a no-brainer. How do people walk away from it without taking advantage of it? And so, you do that through, obviously, adding some bonuses in there, take advantage of it today, and you're going to throw in this and you're going to throw in that. They're also going to receive this, and it's just to a point where they're receiving so much that is valued so much higher than what you're actually asking them to invest, that it's a no-brainer for them to take advantage of it. How do they walk away? Like, it's irresistible, and that's why he calls it the irresistible offer. And so I think it's a matter of just really tweaking that offer, making sure that one, it's priced effectively to where people are going to take advantage of it, but two, that it's got value in it. A lot of times if we make an offer if I make an offer from the front of the room and I don't get the response, I know that I've either got it priced improperly or I just didn't bring the value. There wasn't enough value for people to actually pull the trigger and take advantage of it. So those are the two things that I'm looking at mainly. Is
Okay.
the
And
price
and
right? And did I offer the value?
and when you are speaking, and you said that this follows, so is it that you give a certain amount of information and this is just like an add-on to that? Or do you hold something back? I mean, I remember once I heard a speaker who was selling from the stage, and he kept telling us. So, what he did was he said, "This is what I can do for you. Here is proof that it works. But if you
Hmm.
want to know how to do it, you've got to buy." And it was very effective. I watched people
Hmm.
flood to the front of the room when he finished because this was a sales geared event, right? Each speaker would
Yeah.
get up, pitch, and then there'd be a break and you'd run to the front and buy whatever it was. But is
Hmm.
that a method to do it where it's the what, the why, but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
how, or how does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
work?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's what to do. And if you want to know exactly how to do it, then you can take advantage of this offer that I have for you. And it's and the why is important. What is it that you need to be doing in your business? Why do you need to be doing it? And how to do it. I'm gonna work with you on exactly how to put that implementation into action so that you can get these results. And so, yes, definitely, that is a big strategy when it comes to selling. Is I mean, think about it. If you tell them exactly how to do it, then
They don't need to
from the front
buy.
of the room, they don't need to buy anything.
And any tips on selling books? If you're at an event, either where they do let you pitch from the stage or they don't, what are some tactics to engage people to buy your book or to attract them to where you are to buy your book? Any tips there?
Yeah. So, the key thing to remember is it's always about them. What's in it for them. So a lot of times, people will get up and they'll promote their book, but it's like in my book, I share my story about how I did this, and it's like, okay, whatever, but then you see the person that gets up and says, hey, it's really important that you understand this. If you want to take your business, your life to the next level, then this is what you want to do. And in this book is a strategy that is laid out from point A to point Z that's going to help you accomplish that. What you're going to receive by reading this book is you're going to get this and you're going to get that. The end result for you is that you're going to be able to accomplish this and you're going to be able to do that. And so come back, grab a copy. And I always love doing a soft sell on the books. Whether come back, grab a copy, I'll sign it for you. I'd love to shake your hand and meet you. Even if you don't buy a book, come back, give me a hug, shake my hand. I'd still love to meet you. And I'm always that's usually a soft sell on the books at the back of the room, and it's highly effective. When you
Yeah,
do it that way. But you always
because you
want
don't feel the
to.
pressure, right? You just want to meet the speaker, and people love to meet speakers. You're by standing on stage, you're famous. It's exciting to meet you.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, so I just think the key to being effective in selling books is what's in the book for them. Because it's not about
Excellent.
you, it's about them always. Yep.
All right. Now, another thing that you are very good at, I know you've done this for a long time, is you hold your own events. Now, obviously, there's so much that goes into planning an event that we don't have time for that on this podcast, but
Sure.
why should or why shouldn't a speaker hold an event? Like
You know what I
motivational.
love? Yeah, you know what I love about doing my own events is that I don't have to ask anybody for permission to speak. It's a guaranteed speaking gig.
This is
Right?
true.
Yeah, I'm not in competition with any other speakers. I'm not doing the song and dance of lining up to speaking and negotiating back and forth with, fees and all that kind of stuff. The beauty of it is that it's a guaranteed speaking opportunity, and I don't have to ask anybody for permission to make a sell from the front of the room or to offer books or to do any of that kind of stuff. I literally get to structure the event how I envision it to go. And so it's a huge opportunity to do your own events if you're a speaker, especially if you have offers and programs and different things like that, because you're in control of your own destiny 100% there. And so doing events is big. The key is, doing an event that's going to have a draw, that's going to draw people in. What is the topic of the event? Whatever you're going to call the event needs to really spell out to the marketplace what they're going to receive from the event. So how you title that event, needs to kind of spell out to everybody. This is what you're going to get if you come to this event. What's again? It's always about what's the benefit to them. What are they going to receive? And so creating an event, picking a date for the event, deciding what your goal is, how many people that you want to try to get to that event, because choosing your venue is going to play a factor into that as well. You want to make sure you have a big enough venue to handle the size of event that you want to have. I always love bringing in other speakers as well. Bringing some other speakers, opening up the opportunity for some other people to come in, because that has a tendency to draw people as well. And then you have those other speakers that are also able to promote the event and put butts in the seats as well. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to is, getting people to the event. So your marketing, what you're calling the event, all of that kind of stuff is really designed around getting people to that event. And then, it's 90 to 120 days of just all out promotion, you
Mhm.
know, all out promotion on your social media, everywhere that you can think about, posting that event, putting that event out there. Just, it's constant promotion leading up to that event, because you want to get the people there. And then ultimately, you want to be able to provide those people with value. I always tell people, you could start out by doing a half day event, maybe from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you're in there, you got 3 hours of content that you can share with your audience, and really just, pour into them, give them some great information. And then you make a small offer at the end. Your offer, the size of your offer, I believe really has to do with the amount of time that you have with your audience. So, if you've only got, a half day event from 9 to 12, the offer that you're going to make at that event is probably not going to be your really high ticket item, because you've only had 3 hours with them. You know, if you do a full day event, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., now you have the opportunity, because you've had all day with them. Now you can step up that offer, maybe go to one of your mid-range offers. And if you do a 2 or 3 day event, now you can offer the farm. You can lay out that big ticket item to them if you've had a couple days with them, because now you've really had an opportunity to really pour into them, to really build for that offer, and you have a lot more opportunity to be successful with that offer if you've had more time with them. So those
Right.
are things to factor in. But doing your own event is huge. I mean, it's a guaranteed speaking opportunity. You can sell whatever it is you want to sell. You can offer whatever it is you want to sell. If you do a full day event, you've got your books out there all day long. You take a few breaks throughout the day. They're coming over, they're seeing the books during one of the breaks. Before one of the breaks, you're saying, "Hey, there's some books back there. Let me tell you what's in that book for you. Go back there and grab one." And then you still have your offer opportunity, towards the end of the event as well,
And now, do you
because
try
you've.
to make any money on the front end, or should you? Do you charge a fee to come to the event? And if so, how do you know what to charge?
So, yes and no. I mean, some events are free. Some events do require an investment to come. I would always keep the investment, affordable for ticket prices, especially, when you're just starting out and people don't really know who you are. They don't know if you're Tim Tebow or somebody like that, that's well known all over the place, and you throw together an event, people will pay, top dollar to come and hear you. But if you're not a well-known speaker and everybody doesn't know who you are, I would say keep the ticket cost minimal, because or even make it a free event because you want to get people in the door. So one of the things that we have done is I like to offer sponsorship opportunities for events. So local businesses, companies, organizations pay to sponsor the event, and I will actually let them come and set up a table if they're a sponsor, set up a table at the event, and that way during the event they've got exposure to the audience, but they're also receiving that exposure from all your marketing material that you're using leading up to the event. And really, if you price it the right way, you really only need a handful of sponsors, and that will help cover the overhead for the event. And I always say, try to keep your overhead at a minimal. When we do our full day, 2 day events, we break for lunch. We don't, because that's a big cost when you're doing an event,
Yeah.
is to feed the audience. And these hotels, if you're doing a hotel venue or something like that, they will knock your head off on, feeding the audience. And
And
it's a
yeah, they
big,
charge a
big,
lot more than people
mhm,
would pay on their own, right? If they just go get lunch. So,
absolutely. And so when I'm seeking out venues, we're always looking for a venue that is near a lot of places to eat, you know. Um, we have a hotel here in Tampa that we use a lot for uh, for events, and literally you walk out the front door of the hotel and there's 8 different restaurants there. When you walk out the front door, you don't have to get in your car and go anywhere. You can just walk out and go eat. So we break for lunch, let everybody go grab a bite to eat, and then they come back after lunch, and you're not having to worry about that expense. You're not having to worry about feeding them or anything like that. So these are all things to think about when you're planning your own event. Keep your cost down to a minimal. You can really step up your game. A lot of people think they have to go all out at the very beginning. They do their first event and they got to have lanyards for everybody, and they got to have, they just got to go all out, and all that stuff costs money up front for you to be able to provide those things. Start simple, get some events under your belt, make some money at those events, and take that money and invest it back into your next events, and you can step it back up. When I did my first event, it was a half day event. It was 9 to 12. The venue was not that great. I remember I had a little speaker that was about as big as this water bottle right here, and that's what I was playing. I was playing music on that speaker, you know, and I connected to their projector that was sitting on a table that was kind of shining up on the wall, and I hooked up to it and I had the music playing through the little speaker, and it wasn't anything grandiose. There was no lights shining, no smoke machines, no none of that. It was very simple, and I just got up there and I poured in to the audience, and then I made an offer at the end, and I made some money off that offer, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And so as I continued to do that, I began to invest that money into things to make events better. So we began to invest in our own speaker system, our own microphones, all of that, taking that money and putting it back in to make the events better. And now, we have all of our own stuff. So when we go to a venue, we don't need to use their audio. We don't need to use their visuals. We have all of our own stuff that we bring with us, and we set it up, and we have a system for that, and it's all good.
and it,
Yeah.
it sounds like, I mean, everything you're saying is start small, right? Whether it's an
Hmm.
event, whether it's an offer, because I guess that it's easier and less loss, right? If you're starting
Hmm.
small. So makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
All
And
right, Steve, here's
everything builds your confidence, right? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, am I missing anything? Is there any aspect of sales for a speaker that we've not covered? I mean, we talked about the funnels, your own events, books at the back of the room. not being the
I would
expert, I'm not
say
sure if we're missing something
I
obvious.
would, yeah, I mean, the obvious is that most people are scared to death of it. I mean, that's the obvious is the fear, of they don't want to be that salesy salesperson. And, I just want to say that that is something that you have to overcome because again, that is you making it about you.
Hmm.
Okay. When you aren't willing to sell or you look at selling from the front or making an offer from the front of the room, when you look at it in a negative way, you're actually making it about you because you're more worried about being that guy, and what you're actually doing is you're again denying your audience an opportunity for growth, because if you're bringing value and you have this additional value that is available and you're not offering it to them, then you're doing them an injustice. If you've got up there and you've brought it and you've delivered, they have a desire to go further with you. They have a desire to engage with you further. And if you don't offer that them that opportunity, then you're making a mistake and you're doing them a disservice. And so you've just got to keep that in mind when it comes to selling or making offers. Selling is not being the sleazy car salesman. It's saying, hey, I have something of value. These people need it. They want it. And I'm going to offer it to them so that they can grow and go to the next level.
That's fantastic. I think that's such a great way to view sales. That's fantastic. All right,
Hmm.
Steve, I need to wrap this now. We're at the end of our time, so I've got a question for
Hmm.
you.
Okay.
If Steve now was to go back in time and meet up with Steve, who was just starting out as a professional speaker, what one thing would you tell him that you didn't know then that you know now?
Hmm. You're worthy.
That's
You're
beautiful.
worthy. Yeah. I didn't understand my worth for the longest, and this is something that we tackle and address with our coaching clients is, just understanding their worth, and anybody that's listening that has a desire to speak or grow in their speaking, you have this lifetime of knowledge and experience, and you know they're waiting for it. They're waiting for all the things that you've learned, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the lessons learned in between. And they're waiting for you to share that with them because your story and what you share from the front of the room could set somebody free. It could
Mhm.
set somebody free that's in bondage right now, that is wondering what their next step is or what their next move is or how to break free from something that's been holding them back in their life. And you've got the answer with your story and your testimony. And a lot of times we are held back because we don't think we're worthy to go out and share those things. And so I think that I would have gotten started a lot sooner and gone out with a lot more confidence in the beginning had I known the worth that I brought when I got up and spoke and shared. And so I think that would be the second thing from a marketing standpoint would be get super active on social media sooner,
Okay.
you know, social media is huge. It's a huge platform. It's an opportunity for us to speak every single day.
Hmm.
I mean, we've got a video camera right here in our hands, and we can get out there and share whatever messages that God puts in our heart and share it with the masses. And so I would have gotten a lot more active on social media a lot sooner than I did.
Well, thank
So,
you so much for that. And I think just what a beautiful message for everyone listening. You are worthy. You should be speaking. Go do it. Spread your word. And if this podcast helped you, I'd love to hear about it. If you go to my website, pathtothemainstagepodcast.com, and you can reach me there if you have any questions, and leave, please, a review on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Path to the Main Stage. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And for full video episodes, check out YouTube. If you want to be a successful speaker, you need to make it happen. My co-hosts and I are here to help guide you. But if you need more help, please check out pathtothemainstage.com where we can connect. And until next time, keep sharing your voice, keep showing up, and keep taking your path to the main stage.